What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are continuing our deep dive into the Transformers trading card game by having a look at the forgotten Dinobot. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking today at Dinobot Swoop. You see, when it comes to Dinobots, there is a team of three that everybody thinks is the best. You use Grimlock, you use Dinobot Snarl, and you use Dinobot Sludge. Now, Dinobot Slug is a vanilla character, so okay, I suppose you can expect that. But Dinobot Swoop is not a vanilla character, so it shouldn't be being ignored. The question is, can we make Dinobot Swoop work? Does it go in a Dinobot deck? Can it go in other decks? Or is it destined to always be on the outside looking in? Well, if we start off with Dinobot Swoop and we have a little bit of a look at the statistics here, we see that it is a 6 cost, which is a very, very cheap card. It is 75% of the average of 8. Now the health is 10 compared to the average of 12, but that's to be expected. The attack averages out at 4, 5 in bot mode, 3 in alt mode, which is the average. The defense is average in alt mode of 2, but it's 0 in bot mode. That is low. But then again, a 6 cost character with an attack of 5, that's not bad, ladies and gentlemen. That is not bad at all. Now, there is no skill in bot mode, but it's got the high attack, which we like. But when you flip it to alt mode, you get to move 1 damage counter from Dinobot Swoop to an enemy. That's built-in healing. So in theory here, if we can protect Dinobot Swoop a little bit, if we can build in a little bit of healing here and there, we might be in a lovely position where we can keep it going for long enough that we can take advantage of this higher than average attack. It's not going to be some redonk powerhouse card. It is a 6 cost. But having said that, does it really matter? Because it's a 6 cost. Now, in terms of partners, obviously the Dinobots come in nicely here. What you could do is go Swoop and Sludge. Now, the reason I like Sludge is it's an 8 cost, putting you on 14, which gives you plenty of room for a third character, gives you 11 stars to spare. But Dinobot Sludge says, when your Dinobots attack, repair 1 damage from it. And when you flip to this mode, move any number of damage counters from your other Dinobots to this one. Which means that Dinobot Swoop can move a damage counter when you flip to the mode. Then when it attacks you, repair 1 damage using Sludge. And if that's not enough, you can move other damage onto Sludge. So Sludge and Swoop together have really great chemistry in terms of healing. And yeah, fine, Grimlock's a better attacker, and Snarl's got that great ability that draws 2 cards when you got 0 cards in hand. But none of the other Dinobots have the great symmetry between Swoop and Sludge here, in that it's just healing after healing after healing, which I like very much indeed. And if you just go with Swoop and Sludge here, you've got room for a third character. One that I like very much indeed here is Autobot Cosmos. And the reason I like Autobot Cosmos here is, first of all, you've got the bot mode skill. If you reshuffle your deck while you're attacking, KO the defender if it's got 12 stars or fewer. Like I said in my Cosmos video, link in the description, I'm not sure how often you're actually going to be able to get that to work. I don't know how reliable that is. But when you flip to alt mode, scrap all cards from your hand and draw that many cards. Now that is absolutely critical here, because one of the very, 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 very best Dinobot cards here is Dino Chomp. Dino Chomp is redonk. But the problem is, it says scrap your hand, one of your Dinobots gets bold 5 until the end of your turn. That is by far the best bold 5 we've got. Like, seriously. The best bold outside of that is bold 3 on Supercharge. So it really is good. I said the best bold 5. Clearly I meant the best bold. It's great bold. But then you have no hand. That's why people use Dinobot Snarl in Dinobot decks. Now look, I know that Autobot Cosmos scraps your hand and draws that many cards. And if you've got a hand of 0 cards, that's not going to get you any cards. But what's going to happen essentially here is you're going to have a very low hand size. You're going to draw the odd card here or there. We'll talk about ways to do that in a moment. But you're going to have a low hand. Autobot Cosmos doesn't draw you cards per se, but it lets you change your hand. So if you draw one or two after a Dino Chomp and they're not the right ones, Autobot Cosmos gives you another chance. Plus it's got ridiculous health. So I quite like that, but then again I'm a bit of a Cosmos fanboy. Or you can use Optimus Prime Autobot Leader. Now, the great thing about Optimus Prime Autobot Leader here, firstly, it's got Bold 1, and Bold is something that you love doing with your Dinobots here. Bold is absolutely something you want to get involved with. But also, when you flip into Alt Mode here, draw a card. It's nice draw. The problem is you've got 11 stars to play with. This is a 7 cost, which means you'll end up with a 21 star deck, which is the lowest you can have trying to max out. I.e., there's 4 stars remaining, but the cheapest character is 5 stars. I'm also a bit of a fan of Sunstorm here. Because when you flip to this mode, you've got fewer than 3 cards in hand, draw until you have 3 cards in hand. Well, that's better draw than Snarl. Firstly, you're drawing 3 rather than 2. Secondly, Snarl only works when you've got a hand of 0. This can draw you 2 if you've got a hand of 1, 1 if you've got a hand of 2, etc. Plus, it's got a decent skill in bot mode. The attack is equal to the number of cards you have in hand, but mostly I like it for the draw. Plus, it's an 11 cost, it's got pretty decent stats, especially the health of 14 here. So, I could be down with a Swoop Sludge and something else deck here. Now, of course, you could just go Swoop Sludge and Grimlock, Grimlock being a great Dinobot, and Grimlock gives one of your Dinobots Bold 3, and I love that because it would work with Swoop. The problem with playing Sludge with Swoop and Grimlock is that you're playing Dino Chomp, but you don't have an ability that draws you cards, which could leave you in top deck mode for a while, which makes me a little bit nervous. But you absolutely could here. So in terms of healing and preventing damage, you gotta love the card Heroism. Heroism is a lovely little card. If you play something like Cosmos, you can just redirect the damage over, and that would work very nicely indeed. And of course, you know I'm going to mention Force Field here. It's one of my free of in every deck cards. I think Force Field is nuts good. But what I love about Force Field here is you can only take a maximum 4 damage from an attack. Great. And then what you do is you attack and Sludge repairs 1 damage. And then you flip into Alt Mode and you move 1 damage counter from Swoop to your opponent. And then all of a sudden, they're only actually doing 2 damage to you. You're doing 1 damage back to them. And 2 damage is very easily repaired, ladies and gentlemen. I think Force Field works beautifully here. Now, in terms of repairing cards, we have got a few options. Medic repairs 2 damage. After you attack with Sludge out, and you use your skill here, that will heal you completely. Emergency Maintenance repairs 1 damage from one of your characters, but 3 if you've got more stars in the KO area than the battle area. And clearly, if you move 1 damage counter to your opponent and then heal 3 with a force field attached, that will heal you completely here. And then, of course, we do have to give a quick shout out to Repair Bay that repairs 1 damage from each of your characters. That is very, very nice indeed. So you could move some damage over to Sludge while having a Heroism on Cosmos, for instance, and then use Repair Bay to be healing off the damage from Cosmos and Sludge while you sit there sitting absolutely pretty. Now, I do keep talking about abilities when you flip to your other mode, because especially with something like Swoop here, ideally what you want to do is flip to Alt Mode, move the damage counter, then flip back to have an attack of 5 rather than an attack of 3. So cards like Rollout and Rapid Conversion here are very, very important for making sure that you can swap mode whenever you like. Now, another thing you could do here is just go full blue. Make a full-on defensive deck so that you're not taking much damage, and then you can start moving it over. So rather than using stuff like Force Field, just playing lots of blue icons. This is dodgy because the game is set up for attacking, hence why the average attack is 4 and the average defense is 2, but that is something you could do. Although if you're doing that, you do want to stick in alt mode as much as you can, so you got a defense of 2 rather than 0. Now, in terms of blue cards, we do have a couple of double blue. We've got Security Checkpoint, which is nice just because it's got double blue. Also makes your opponent scrap their upgrades from their hand. I mean, you too, but you can prep for it. So that's quite nice. And Handheld Blaster gives you bold 1, while also being double blue. But that leads me nicely onto the next discussion here, because you're a Dinobot and bold is great. So obviously you want to be using Dino Chomp here, that's important. But we've also got Jaws of Steel, which is an upgrade utility which gives you bold 2. And you can combine that with Flamethrower, which will also give you bold 2, but it's a weapon so you can put both of them on at once. And also, being a specialist here does give you access to a couple of specialist cards, and I know the lovely Landon Dastrup from TCG Rollout. Do make sure you check that out if you haven't already. It's a good channel. He is a very big fan of these cards. Multi-mission gear, attach it to a specialist, play an action. Multi-tool, attach it to a specialist, you get to play an upgrade. And I should mention at this stage, Cosmos is a specialist. Dinobot Sludge is a specialist, so you can really take advantage of these cards to get extra actions and extra upgrades out if you are playing a full specialist team. Even if you just play Swoop and Sludge, that's still 2 specialists. That seems pretty gosh darn good to me. And then just a quick shout out at the end of this video to some draw cards. If you're not playing a card which has a skill which lets you draw, then you might have to rely on draw cards, in which case, backup plan. Scrap your hand and draw 3 cards, plus it's got a white pip, so that's quite nice. Equipment Enthusiast, draw a card for each of your upgrades, and it's got a white pip. They're ones that I like quite a bit here. Or in terms of upgrade cards, Data Bank, draw a card at the start of your turn, and it's got a white pip. Data Pad, draw a card when you attack, and it's got a white pip. Plus it lets you put a card on top of your deck if you want, so that you can fix a blue pip if you're going to be defending, or an orange pip if you're going to be attacking. So they are cards to bear in mind. I like Dinobot Swoop, and I know that the expected Dinobot deck at the moment is Grimlock with Sludge and Snarl, but I don't think you necessarily need Snarl. And I don't think you necessarily need Grimlock, although Grimlock is obviously a phenomenal attacker. I'm not going to be dumb and argue he isn't. But I think you can use Sludge and Swoop as the basis of a healing deck, chuck in another character that you like, play some specialist cards, and have a bit of fun. Is it perfect? I don't know. That's what testing is for. Either way, I was starting to feel guilty I hadn't done a Dinobot Swoop video. And now I have. And honestly, it's such an interesting card. I could have gone for another 15 minutes, but I think we've said enough for now. But I want you guys to say stuff, so pop down in the comment section what you think about this card. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice. Also, side note, if you've not been able to find a Grimlock yet, as I know a lot of you haven't, this still gives you a Dinobot to work with. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.